Alrighty. Hello, and thanks for putting up with this weird lighting. I don't know what's going on other than that it's coming in through the window. Probably could be better, but hey, I'm just here to catch up. So it's been a while, friends, and I wanted to create an update video because life's about to get a lot busier due to the introduction of our firstborn. And we're keeping some of that stuff kind of on the lowdown currently. Might post more in the future. But I guess in terms of farm development and the fact that I'm now 7.5 months pregnant, there's been quite a lot going on. And so I'll include some photos here, just a little bit of an update. But essentially, for those who are just tuning in now, in late 2021, my husband Aaron and I moved out to Vail, South Dakota, and we purchased some land next to my parents, and they have a little family farm that we help operate. I mostly do like bookkeeping and marketing and stuff like that for it. And Aaron is full-time just working on our little 5-acre farmstead and helping out family and kind of contributing to a lot of different infrastructure development while we wait for legislation to catch up in some progressive ways. If you know us at all, you know what that means. If not, don't worry about it. Anyways, we became pregnant last July, August-ish or whatnot, and super excited. The thing is though is I'm still building my business, Black Hills Financial Planning, and I do some other things as well too. We have Paskin Prairie Co. That's a digital marketing creative agency firm that I started with my mom, who is brilliant and amazing at graphic design and photography and videography and all these things. And with my 15 plus years experience of building websites and doing branding and how that merges into business consulting and everything else, we have this cool little side business as well too. And so primarily focused on business consulting, financial planning, and then helping with the other 2 startups with Paskin Prairie and then Freilich Farms as well too. So pretty maxed out in some regards already. But with all that going on, we haven't even really started on building a home out here. We have what's called a man camp, and it kind of looks like a trailer, but they're built a lot more durable. So it's like steel reinforced, and with that blizzard cyclone that came through that tore up so many different homes, it proved to be very resilient. Barely even got a ding on the outside, but very well insulated. They're built in Canada, so they can withstand like negative 40-degree temperatures, and we haven't had any issues. Honestly, it's been perfect for the South Dakota prairie. It's not like a super cool cob home, but it is long and horizontal and fits our needs. It has 2 bedrooms and 2 baths and utility room and 2 main areas with 2 kitchens, and I can use one side for my office, Aaron can use the other side for his, and it's almost like tiny home living in a way. So we don't hate it, and we have turned one of those bedrooms into a nursery for a little one that's coming in just a couple of months. So it's working. Definitely would not have more than 1 kid in this thing. But yeah, so there's just a lot going on. On the animal front, Aaron, my wonderful husband, built a hog and goat hut with, it's a nice big enclosure for them essentially. So we're about to move them over, and you can be damn sure that I'm gonna take some video footage of that because they're gonna be super cute. And so we have my 500-pound pig Matilda, who just gets to enjoy apples and live her life on the prairie, and 2 dwarf goats. Kind of contemplating getting a doe because I would love to have some dwarf goat milk on hands in the event that the baby needs it. So that would be kind of a goal, but you have to milk them every morning, and I don't know if I'm that dedicated. I honestly don't think so. So I'm just gonna be honest with that. And then my special needs boar, which he needs like a video on himself, let's be honest. And eventually we'll pull him over in another hut with the sheep that I adopted, who is somewhat wild but needs a home and hasn't been sheared in like 5 years. So another video coming on that when that craziness happens, because we're gonna have to probably tranquilize her, shear her, move her over here, and then she's gonna wake up in a pen with a boar and be like, what the fuck? So yeah, you might have questions as to like, why are you adopting a wild sheep, and where did this wild sheep come from? Well, I was gonna save this for another video, but what the heck, story time. So apparently one of our neighbors down the road who sold the property my whole family lives on to my parents originally when they moved out here, he got a call from a neighbor that there was a sheep in with the cows and they didn't know where it came from and that they were gonna drop it off. He's like, well, I don't want a sheep. And they were like, well, that's too damn bad because I'm driving down here and almost at your property. And so being wonderful people, apparently, they just adopted this sheep. And the older gentleman's been just feeding her, every day for the past like 5 years. But because it's wild and not very familiar with humans, it hasn't been sheared, so it has a whole bunch of wool, and you can probably imagine that's not nice on the skeletal frame. So yeah, so it's gonna be a whole thing. Definitely will record it. That'll be probably the best video on this channel, and then I'll never peek again like that. But that's that's the goal. So that's sort of the humble origins of the Shire Animal Sanctuary, which should definitely become a nonprofit so it can pay for itself, and I'm not just forking out funds for my own entertainment. But that's also just part of the reality. There's lots of cute beings that need homes, and gosh darn it, we can care for some of them. So that's a bit of an update in terms of just farm life and where we're at. It's February 2023, lots of business projects on the docket. The last cool thing I wanted to mention was about the Maritime Missions International Organization. So this is a Uganda-based nonprofit that has made some incredible strides over the last year. And I came in contact with the co-founder, Elijah, because he had sent me a business initiative, essentially looking for sponsors, but also looking for people who could maybe help further his vision. At first it was the LI Agape Givers International Organization, but when I encouraged them to get legitimate and register as a nonprofit, the country would not allow them to use that name because it was too common, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the Maritime Missions International Organization then is just so much in the past year. It's kind of amazing. So they've been registered as a nonprofit. They were able to open up a bank account and kind of legitimize themselves. They have a website now, online means of being able to receive funds, and we're about to do another build out for their website so that they can receive donations through it and not have to go through these alternate channels, basically. So that's all kind of cool. But the coolest part is that we're rolling out business development initiatives for the women who are part of this organization. So rewind a little bit. This organization came to be in 2019 when Eli was noticing that there was a lot of women who were having abortions because they were concerned about the first of all, economic downturn, and then in 2020, COVID primarily. And they're just left without food, without opportunity to care for themselves, and a lot of these women had been raped and were with child. And their community said, hey, you can either have this baby or you can not have it, and if you don't have it, we'll welcome you back, but if you do, you're basically going to be ostracized. And so he convinced them, because he believes, like a good Christian, that abortion is not the answer. And so he basically created this organization to provide safe haven, education, food, whatnot, to these women and their babies if they would keep them. Now, that's taken on a lot. So he's basically like, a symbolic daddy for a lot of these kids. And that probably came across wrong, but I mean like a fatherly figure. He does have a wife. They're expecting their own kids. It's not like that. But what I'm trying to say is this is a very paternal individual who's trying to help provide for more people as well too. And by being able to teach these moms new skills, they can stop depending upon the organization to feed them and their babies, and instead they can start their own businesses and then change their life circumstances by becoming small business owners. Now, there's some interesting things about this, because over there's a lot of different cultural viewpoints when it comes to men versus women in business, and also having children out of wedlock and whatnot. So there's a lot of taboo to overcome with this venture, but they're doing a good job. They're helping a lot of people. They're being able to collaborate with other organizations and disperse food and create different events, and most importantly to Eli, share the ministry of God. So that's praise Jesus. But I mean, I can't help but also be super excited about the business development side of it, because there's just so much, you know. It's just even the basics that we're taught about in high school, most of these women have never been given the opportunity to learn. So I'm working with them to help provide some more education on a basics level while we continue to build the organization and get the $1,500. That's the donation goal for the year. $1,500, that's it, for five tailoring machines, a little bit of extra material, and then a small stipend for a local lady from the church who's going to teach these women how to tailor. And then after they graduate from that program, they're essentially going to be gifted one of those tailoring machines to go start their own businesses. And the goal is that they'll have been provided with support and understanding of how to keep that going, essentially at that point, like how to have their own tailoring business. And that and baking are kind of the best options for them currently. So we're working on all of that. Anyways, I digress. I have talked quite a bit, but I wanted to provide an update because there's so many interesting things happening, and I honestly have no idea when I'll post another one of these, because baby. So yeah, I guess I wanted to connect with y'all and share some stuff. I'll put links down below, and if you're interested in helping to support the Maritime Missions organization, that'd be super cool, because like everything I've witnessed and the people I've interacted and worked with over the past year, they're legitimate. They want to help people. They're willing to put in the hard work, and they're not shying away from the uncomfortable. Like these are people who are going to ensure that every single dollar goes toward the mission that they have committed to. So I like that fact a lot. And of course, keep an eye out for weird farm videos, because they'll inevitably be coming down the pipeline. If you have questions, feel free to comment. Otherwise, have a beautiful day, and I'll connect with you guys sometime in the future. Bye.
It's as simple as it seems, the twinkle in your eyes, the way that time slows down when you kiss me. As we fall asleep in a bed of butterflies, just close your eyes and then you'll see it. You don't ever have to look too far. You don't have to cover up your scars. You're perfect, darling, just the way you are. So before you think to rip yourself apart, open up my heart and you'll find love, love, love.